Welcome back, everyone. Craig and Leah here today. How are you today, Leah?
I'm all right. You?
Good. Tired. It's been a long week.
Yeah. Long week of doing what?
Oh, a lot of stuff. I'm getting ready for a trial. Got a med mal trial coming up.
Mhm.
We'll talk a little bit more about that later on. And so I was in Green Bay this week for that for a couple days. Then today I was driving truck again. I got to take a long trip. Actually got to drive the semi down through downtown La Crosse and
Mhm.
up to the interstate and over to West Salem and Sparta and then back to Viroqua. So yeah, I got some good miles in today.
Yeah. You feeling ready for your test? When is that?
So today's Friday afternoon. So I drive again on Monday afternoon, and then Tuesday afternoon a little bit, and then I test Tuesday at late afternoon is my test. So hopefully I'll pass.
Yeah, I'm sure you will. You've been putting on all those miles, all those hours.
Yeah,
It's got to pay off somehow.
yeah. I'm pretty comfortable with 2 out of the 3. The pre-trip, I'm pretty confident about,
Mm-hmm.
and then the actual driving itself, I think I'm fine. I mean, there are always little things I can improve. There's things I'll miss points for because I'm not checking my mirrors enough, or I
Mm-hmm.
occasionally go over the speed limit. But as long as I don't make any major
Mm-hmm.
mistakes during the driving test, I'm feeling pretty comfortable there. And then it's just the forward maneuvers and specifically the reverse offset backing is I got much better today, but it's one of those things where the less I think about it, the better I do. And then the more I do it and more I think about it, the worse I get. It's one of those, you don't really know what part of me is going to show up for that test. So hopefully the good one shows up for the actual exam, but if not, I'll have to retake it.
Yeah. Hopefully not every part.
Yeah. I would be surprised if I don't pass all of them, that I fail more than one, but who knows? Anything could happen. Yeah.
Well, the next episode we'll get to learn all about how it went, right?
Yeah. Hopefully I got good news.
What else can you tell the listeners? What else have you gotten up to?
Yeah. So I'm very excited to reveal the new website. It's been in the works for about 2 months now, 6 weeks, 2 months. Farmandtruckinjury.com. And I think actually if you go to craigsteger.com, I think it'll get redirected to it. But farmandtruckinjury.com has sort of been my baby that I've been working on for a while. It looks really cool. Farmandtruckinjury.com. It reflects not really the pivot, but the focusing on my practice now, which is going to be more on farm and truck injuries. That's all it is right now, is just farm injuries and truck injuries. And then in addition to this podcast, I'm actively creating videos for 2 other channels, a specific sort of channel outlet for the farming. I go by Farming Lawyer, the Farming Lawyer, and then I go by the Trucking Lawyer for the other one. So I'm putting videos out similar to the stuff we talk here, but it's very focused just on trucking or just on farming. That is kind of more designed for farmers, truckers, their families, kind of really before crash happens. We talk, kind of insurance to have, things to be thinking about, how to be safe, how to plan ahead. And there'll be stuff on there too for, if you are unfortunate enough to have a crash or a loss or something, but it'll be geared more towards helping and providing useful information to farmers and truckers so that hopefully these things don't happen. But if they do, you're prepared. You're prepared as you can be for them. I will have a separate YouTube channel that is a companion to the website. So, and I'll put videos that kind of go hand in hand with the website content. That will be information for people that actually have been involved in an injury or a loss of some sort, wrongful death. It'll be more information on what to do in that situation. So I've been working very hard on that. I would say for years, but certainly for the last 4 or 5 months, pretty aggressive on that.
Mm-hmm. So it's less of a change in your practice, but a concentration.
Yep, exactly. Concentrating more on these kinds of cases, which I've handled in the past.
And with your CDL, you're getting that literal on the road experience to be able to relate even more to folks that we're trying to help support. We've got something on your calendar coming up as an example.
Yeah, so starting a week from Monday, so just over a week now, I start a week to a week and a half long jury trial in Green Bay. This is a medical malpractice trial. God willing, it'll be my last medical malpractice case unless I can find a way to do them maybe on a pro bono basis or something like that. And it's just they're very demanding and they're very expensive and they're very risky and very few lawyers do them. I'm going to be joining the list of lawyers that don't do these anymore, probably.
Mm-hmm.
That's the goal. Or if I do, I'll be very, very selective about the ones that I do. But if someone does have a medical malpractice claim, for example, if there's a meritorious claim, I will do what I can to help send them to another lawyer. There are a few lawyers that do them. There's not very many, but I will certainly try to help people find lawyers and put them in touch with lawyers that can help. And that's going to be true for a lot of the stuff that I'm doing now that I will be phasing out over time. And that could be, real estate, boundary disputes, general litigation, unless it involves, let's say, farming or trucking, for example. So like, to give you an example, I was speaking with a couple this week. They run a local trucking company and they had a tractor, a semi, had done a bunch of work on it, overhauled the motor and done a bunch of upgrades, and it was in a shop nearing completion, and the shop burnt down. There was a loss, right? There's an insurance dispute there for their losses. So those kinds of things, if it's a non-injury litigation, but involves truckers, owner operators, small trucking businesses, or farmers and farm businesses, I probably will continue to do that and may do more of that than I have been. So that's sort of up in the air. It depends how busy I am with the injury and wrongful death side of things.
Oh, thank you for letting our listeners know about that. And I wanted to ask, if listeners don't know, medical malpractice is considered personal injury, but what's the difference between different personal injury case and med mal?
Yeah, I mean, it is a personal injury. It deals with pain, suffering, disability, medical expenses, lost earnings if you can't work, or wrongful death if someone dies. So in that respect, there are similarities. It's under the same category as car accidents, slip and falls, trip and falls, things like that. Medical malpractice, for practical reasons, really is treated as its own separate category because it involves professional, care, right? It's not just common negligence. It's a professional, whether it's a doctor or nurse, maybe in some states dentists, but doctors, nurses, healthcare providers, hospitals. And what's significance of that? Well, the significance of it is, unlike, let's say, a car accident where you can go in and probably every person on your jury has a license and can drive themselves and doesn't need any specialized testimony or expertise to decide whether someone was at fault. The jury on a car accident case doesn't need an expert to tell them whether going too fast is negligence or not, right? Those are kind of within the common experience and knowledge of who we call laypersons, jurors, right? That's not the case with medical malpractice and other kinds of professional malpractice, whether it's legal malpractice or, let's say, engineering. There's different kinds of professional malpractice. Accounting, you could you mess up someone's tax returns or something like that. You can, but medical malpractice involves both injuries, but also a heavy professional component to it, which means that you need lots of experts. You have experts to prove everything. You have to be able to prove, first of all, what the standard of care was, whether the standard of care was breached. We call that negligence. Whether that negligence actually caused the injury or whether it's just coincidental. And then finally, like what the person's losses are, what's going to be required in the future for this person if they have like a permanent injury. And all of that tends to require someone with expertise. And that the biggest impact of that is it's just expensive, because those people don't come and testify for free.
That's what I hear when I hear all of those expert testimonies.
And I will tell you, doctors that are being paid to testify in court do very well for themselves. They charge a premium. And so that is a major reason why medical malpractices are just very few of them go, because it's very, very expensive to get a case ready, to get it reviewed, to get it ready, and actually go and try the case. There are a few things where the burden gets switched a little bit. In medical malpractice, there are very few, I would say, rules that kind of fall to the benefit of the plaintiff or the person that was injured or was bringing the lawsuit. But there are a few, and one of those is sort of a presumption that the medical expenses someone incurred were necessary and reasonably incurred. And there is sort of a burden shifting onto the defense to prove that someone's actual medical care that they got afterwards either wasn't necessary or was unreasonably expensive. But there aren't very many of those examples. The rules are almost all favor the insurance company, the doctors, the hospitals, And I think that's true in most states, but it's certainly true in Wisconsin.
Yeah. So hopefully that plays out in favor. We'll see.
Yeah, I mean, we got a good case. We have a good argument, a uh, very good clients, but you just have the inherent unknown of medical malpractice cases. We've been doing a number of focus groups, which is like we test parts of the case with real people
Ooh.
And get their feedback. It's very enlightening as to the things about your case that, see, just people off the street focus on that you wouldn't necessarily think of. So it's and you don't know who your jury is going to be until you get there, right? We won't find out until next week who's even in the potential panel. And then when you go there, they may call in 40 people, 50 people, and 12 people plus maybe an alternate actually make it on your jury.
Wow.
So you don't know who's going to decide the case.
Well, best of luck, I guess is what we could say. In addition to the MedMal case, the trial that you're going to expect next week, what's after that? What happens after that case for you?
I will be focusing heavy on the video and the networking. I got some conferences I'm hoping to attend, especially as it pertains to trucking. So there's some conferences I'm hoping to go to. I'm actually hoping to go to a conference in early November that's just on AI and the law.
Wow.
Yeah, that one's in South Carolina, I think. And I mean, I tell you, one thing I will say, I've been using AI quite a bit to prepare for this trial. It doesn't do everything. There's a lot of things it can't do, but the things that it can do, it is extremely time saving. Like, it's just amazing. Uploading a lot of documents and kind of give it some guidance, and then have it come up with outlines and suggested questions and things for witnesses. So I've already been, as much as I can, trying to incorporate AI into my practice and the marketing side of things, but primarily the practice. And that's only going to get more and more prevalent. If the law firms and lawyers that make good use of AI are going to be the ones, they're going to be the ones that have the successful cases going forward, and everyone else is going to get kind of left in the dust, I think. That's my prediction.
Do you think AI can take your job or not?
Anything's possible. Maybe I'll be driving truck and ChatGPT will be trying my cases. I don't know.
Imagine that. You're in the cab and the chat lawyer is running your trial.
Yeah. I mean, who knows? I mean, I know there are a lot of people for whom AI represents, let's say, a credible threat to the type of work that they do. I don't in any way mean to minimize that, but the way I look at it, it's sort of like, now this isn't a great example, but I think of like, when the cars came out, when the automobile came out, there was concern about what about all the horse raisers and the farriers and those that house the horses, stable owners and stuff like that. You're going to displace a lot of people, which it did. But, look at how much more productive it made us, and people went and did other things. And so I think the same is going to be true with respect to AI. If people are able to use AI as a tool to make them more efficient and productive, and be able to focus your time and energy on the stuff that you are especially good at, I think everyone wins in that case, right? But you have to be willing to adapt, right? Adapt and adopt. And I think that's going to be the challenge, because I think of all people, lawyers tend to be the most resistant to change. And so I think there are great opportunities, especially for young lawyers.
Yeah.
I think if you wanted to start your own firm, start your practice, now it's never been easier in the past. And I think that's true for a lot of professions, from your ability to, AI can like allow you to do things that in the past you'd have to hire 1 or 2 employees to do at great expense if you can find them. So yeah, I'm excited about AI. So I hope I can attend that conference. And then, yeah, otherwise my next trial isn't scheduled until next June. And that one is more likely to settle than any, but we'll see. That's my next jury trial.
Yeah. So we can look forward to hearing about the AI conference you attend, and hopefully the results of the MedMal case.
Yeah, I'm just going to go in there. We're going to try our best case. We're going to do our very best, and then whatever happens, happens. And that's just kind of the attitude you have to have.
Yeah, time for trucking and farm injury cases then.
Yeah, that's the hope.
I don't have anything else for you today, Craig. Thank you for talking to me. Thank you, everybody, for listening. And we might not catch you next week because of the trial, but we'll try our best to get something out to you.
I'll probably try to record something, and I have some plans to record some episodes, at least 1, maybe 2 videos with one of my law partners who's trying the case with me. We'll probably do it from a hotel room. Yeah, so give us a little grace over the next couple of weeks. And then after that, I think we have some really cool stuff coming for you, as well as the other channels. I'll tell you more about those other channels if people want stuff more specifically on the trucking or farming end of things. I'll have some more updated information on that next time. But yeah, if you haven't done it, go check out the website. Traffic to the new website helps. It takes a while for new websites to gain traffic. So if you wouldn't mind going check that page out, and if you get any value out of this, this is a shameless plug, but if you get any value out of this show, or maybe we worked together in the past, the biggest thing that can help me, I'm kind of a small fish in a big pond, is to go and leave a Google review if you've gotten value out of this, even if you've never been a client of mine. But if you've gotten value out of working with me or whatever, and would be kind enough to go leave a Google review, we'll put a link to that
in the description.
People can go check that out. And you don't have to leave a comment. You can just leave however many stars you think is appropriate. But if you think I've earned a 5-star, please give me a 5-star. That would be greatly appreciated. Otherwise, leave a comment, a like, and subscribe. But if there's anything you have further questions about, especially if there's topics you'd like us to cover, just leave them in the comments. And otherwise, go to the website. And if you want to reach out to me, get on my calendar. That's the best place to go. farmandtruckinjury.com.
farmandtruckinjury.com.
And very good. Okay.
See you next time.
All right. Thanks, everyone. Bye,
Thank you. Bye.